Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to Canine Cannibalism. Today, we are going to be taking a look at The Bighead by Edward Lee. The book is 354 pages broken up into a prologue, 21 chapters, and an epilogue. The chapters themselves are further broken up into individual sections numbered off, and each section is from a different person's point of view, so it switches back and forth, or a different group of people's point of view. I think individual sections switch between different people who are in the same like general group area. So, it's a decently sectioned off book. It's a I mean, 354 pages ain't no joke. It's a pretty long read. I was on a plane to like a long ass plane ride and then like a layover, and then the same long ass plane ride and a layover back, or two plane whatever. It took me those entire plane rides to read the book. So think 6 hours one way, 6 hours the other way. I will give you a quick blurb. There is a cannibalistic hillbilly bad guy walking around the woods eating people, and you got a fuck. What does it even say on the blurb? It's a bunch of uh nuns from hell. There's a woman and another woman who go up into the woods where the bad thing is, and one of the women is a nymphomaniac and a drug addict. This blurb doesn't really do much for the actual story, and the nuns are barely in the book. I don't know, I didn't write the blurb. That's what I'm going to tell you. So, normal video, normal things, trigger warning, general thoughts, and then probably a lot of yours favorites, the plot summary, followed by final thoughts. Plot summary, final thoughts will be spoiler heavy. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. Probably a longer video given that the fucking story is extremely long, and I will tell you a very dumbed down version of it that will still probably take me a good 10 to 15 minutes to lay out there. But without further ado, let's jump right into a trigger warning. The most important thing. If you were to pick up a copy of The Bighead and read it, you would find all of the following. Your bog standard gore, torture, mutilation, and death, with the subcategories of cannibalism, genital mutilation, and self-harm, specifically burning. Then there's also sexual abuse throughout the book. Fucking shit ton of sexual abuse throughout the book. Like half of the fucking book is sexual abuse. There is sexual assault, rape, wound fucking, including I don't know if this would be included in that, but a fucking like colostomy hole or a colostectomy, whatever the fuck that's called. Anyway, there's sexual penetration of that. There's some fucking melancholy Durangel shit. Necrophilic acts, incest, and forced impregnation. Then you also have child abuse, including physical abuse, which includes murder and death in this book. You also have sexual abuse, so child sexual abuse, and then infanticide. Then you have some animal abuse, including the death of animals. I'm kind of torn whether to put that as animal abuse. I think I might make that a separate category as just like animal death, because I know a lot of people don't like seeing animals die or reading about animals dying, but it's not really abusive to kill something for food. So, especially if you're like killing it instantly, which is the only thing that happens in the book, is the hunting of animals and killing them for food. I'm probably going to make that a separate category, but for now, this is just what I had in my template, and it was just easy to do this. Then there is also some shit throughout the book, including coprophilic acts and coprophagic acts. You also have some urine, including urophagic acts, and some vomit, including metaphagic acts. You also have general filth, which includes the ingestion of snot, cum eating, the ingestion of spit, and I said this in my last video, and I'll say this again, just as a broader thing. I said this about the cum eating last time. When I say like the ingestion of spit, or cum eating, or the ingestion of snot, I don't mean like clearing your throat, or swallowing your own spit, or swallowing after a blowjob. I mean, like, eating your own cum off of your hands, or spitting in someone else's mouth, or hawking a loogie in someone else's mouth and making them swallow it, or blowing your nose in someone else's mouth and making them swallow it. I'm like, this ain't like pussy shit, what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like gross shit. I'm supposed to warn you about all the gross shit in the book, so I don't mean like not gross shit when I'm saying this stuff. You assume the worst is what I'm telling you. When I tell you something like ingestion of spit, assume I'm talking about the worst that you can imagine, not fucking swallowing your own spit. Anyway, I digress. You also have poor hygiene, sounding a little bit, and then the ingestion of smegma. And yeah, that's your trigger warning. So, general thoughts about the book. So, a lot of this is going to be like really shortened versions of things that I'm going to say after we get into spoiler stuff, because a lot of this involves spoilers, but I'll give you what I can now. The book has very decent writing. I have noticed that from Edward Lee in the past. I am impressed by his writing. He has a command of the English language that should not be ignored. There are a good few typos throughout the book, as one can expect from a lot of extreme horror. There, and I will get into this more later. There's some shit throughout the book that is clearly, and I mean pun intended, I guess. I guess the pun wasn't intended, but now I'm intending for the pun to be into whatever. There's some stuff throughout the book that is very clearly just there to like fill a gross out quota. Like, it is completely useless to the plot, and I know 90% of the stuff in modern extreme horror is just there for gross out shit, but I don't know, Edward Lee's a staple of the genre, man. Like, I gotta fucking, like, I can't cut him that much slack. I mean, some of his books, from what I've heard, are very, very good narratively, and this one has some very good narrative shit. So I'm not just gonna ignore, like, some of the major plot points that are just there for gross out stuff. And we'll get into it, but I I'm gonna continue for now. The narrative, mostly, as I just said, it's pretty interesting. I would never found myself bored per se. I really like the chapters with the Bighead because I love that fun-loving, dumb, over-the-top shit. Mostly, usually. And it was like eating vegetables to get to the dessert, like I would read as fast as I fucking could through the chapters about the other characters just to get back to a chapter that had the Bighead in it, just to see him rip some fucking girl apart and like eat her brains. That shit is great. That dumb stupid shit is so fucking good. Like genital grinder dumb fuckery is fucking incredible. There are a couple of big mistakes, or I say one or two. There was one really big, like, whoops-a-daisy in the writing, and I can't say anything without spoilers, but I will tell you that he writes out a series of events that are mentioned multiple times, but one time he accidentally flips them, like the order in which they happen. That's more in line with the typo stuff. Like, it's really not a big deal. Just something I noticed while reading it. And then I will get into this again more when I can talk about spoilers, but there is a long ass chapter of exposition that is immediately followed in like the second chapter, the second next chapter. I don't even know if that's the correct wording. The chapter after the next chapter is another long ass chapter of exposition seeking to correct the lies that were told by the same character in the previous long ass chapter of exposition. I don't know. I just found that to be odd. I wouldn't necessarily say it was extremely negative. It just felt like maybe it could have been formatted better than just having exposition and then exposition fixing the past exposition. I will say the second bout of exposition was much shorter, but it was still expository. I believe that's a word. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. It will make sense to you after I get through the plot summary, but I will talk about all of this shit more. Is there anything else I can say without fucking spoilers? No, I cannot. So, with all of that out of the way, let's jump in to a plot summary. Massive spoiler warning. As always, I'm going to tell you a summary of the book now. There will be nothing left hidden, no major plot points left hidden, fucking nailing all that shit. So, let me introduce you to some of these characters first. You have Charity, a beautiful woman who was orphaned at a young age. She was in her aunt's care until the state removed her due to her aunt's inability to care for her because her aunt was fucking poor or whatever. I don't know. Every time she goes to bed with a man, the man almost immediately becomes completely cold and leaves. And she doesn't know why. Like, he completely loses sexual interest in her after, like, thrusting a few times and then fucking bolts. There is Aunt Annie, Charity's aunt. She owns a boarding house and was able to collect a large sum of, and in the book, actually, this is like phrased as like a big secret, and we don't find no, it's like hinted like, oh my god, she got money, but why? And then it's, oh yeah, I won a lawsuit, or I was part of a lawsuit against an oil and gas company, or a mineral and gas company, that was like stealing stuff from the land that I own and not paying the residents, and that's why a bunch of people in town actually got money. Like, I thought the phrasing of that was a little odd, but I mean, it's really just, there's Jerica, the aforementioned nymphomaniac drug addict. She is also a reporter for the Washington Post. There is Father Alexander, and I am not going to remain respectful with a fictional sleazebag character in an extreme horror book, so from here on out, I'm going to refer to him as simply Alexander or Alex. He is a foul-mouthed priest who acts as a shrink, rehabilitating other holy men who step out of line. He dreams consistently throughout the book of two subjects: Jesus, who, and it is phrased as being possibly actual Jesus, berating him for his sins, and then he also dreams about two demonic nuns who do bad things to him, such as piss into his mouth, into his asshole, and down his bladder. You also have Dickie and Balls, a couple of moonshine runners who run moonshine across the Virginia-Kentucky borders. At least that's how it's phrased. I can't actually picture those borders in my head, but I'm assuming that's how that works in the book. In their free time, they rape, rob, torture, and murder innocent travelers. Then you have the Bighead, a cannibalistic humanoid creature, emphasis on creature, with a 14-inch penis, that will become important later, who wanders around raping and killing everyone he comes across except for small children, but that's not because he's a good person. That's described as more he knows that if he rapes them, he'll kill them, and he's kind of just trying to get people pregnant, I think is also what's implied, but also he needs to get his nut off, as he says. So I don't know why he didn't kill the children, but he didn't kill the children. I guess that would have been too mean because they were getting raped by their father when he came in, and the author didn't want that to happen, like for them to then just get raped to death by the Bighead after he saves them from their rapist father. Don't know. You might also be like, wait, Davis, why are you calling him a creature? You said earlier that he's a fucking cannibal hillbilly guy. Does that not imply that he's a man? Well, I kind of lied because the book would have you believe for the first half of it that, yeah, he's probably just an inbred hillbilly. No, he's actually a half-human, half-alien demon creature. But we will get to that, trust me. And yeah, there are your characters. So, book. Charity is going up to Luntville, a fictional town in rural Virginia, I believe, to visit with her aunt, and this is years after the whole fiasco with the state removing her from the house. She puts out an ad in the paper for a ride up to the town, and Jerica is going up to the same area to do a story on rural Appalachian life, and she agrees to give Charity a ride if Jerica can get a house or a room for free in the boarding house. The two arrive. They visit a bar that night and are told the story of the Bighead, a monster child of local legend. Father Alexander arrives at the boarding house. He is there on official business of the Catholic Church in order to fix up a nearby abbey that has fallen into disrepair. The plan is to turn it into a rehab home for mentally unwell holy men. Originally, the abbey was a hospice center for dying priests before it was closed. Alexander and Jerica go to the abbey and they begin breaking the boards off and mapping the place out, and in the basement they find a room that has been sealed off with bricks. Alexander, cannot break the bricks even with his trusty sledgehammer. And then while they're at the Abbey, the two find strange things. They find personal effects in the nuns' lockers and in the patients' end tables or bedside tables, and they find pharmaceuticals left in the cabinets. And they're like, or Alex is like, oh, there's no way that the Catholic Church would have left fucking pharmaceuticals in a closed down Abbey. That's weird as shit. Jerica and Alexander go to the bar that Jerica and Charity went to the night previous, where Dickie and Balls come up and begin harassing Jerica. And then Father Alexander lays them both out when Balls sexually assaults Jerica. After this, Dickie and Balls begin staking out the boarding house, waiting for the perfect time to attack everyone there and kill them all. The next day, Alexander goes to the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Diocesan Center. Diocesan, whatever, the fucking HQ for the Catholic Church in the area, to talk to the man above him. Don't know what that position is called, because I don't fucking really care enough to look it up, about the inconsistencies in the Abbey. It comes out that the Abbey didn't actually close. Everyone in the Abbey was raped and murdered by a perpetrator that the two remaining nuns, who lived long enough to describe as a monster child. Ooh. By the way, fucking Alex was already told about the Bighead, because when they went to the bar, Jerica was like, he was like, oh, look, what's this fucking shit on the table? And Jerica's like, oh, that's a carved-in warning about the Bighead. This guy told us last night, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the two nuns end up being the same ones that he's been seeing in his dreams, the two nuns that survived long enough to tell the story, but he doesn't actually see their faces until after he sees a picture of the two nuns, and then that night he has another dream about the two nuns, and their faces are visible to him in the dream then. Meanwhile, while all that is happening, Charity and Andy go out to the graveyard, where Charity's mother, henceforth Sissy, is buried. The story we are given is that Charity's father died in a mine accident, and then Charity's mother killed herself shortly after. Annie then goes and leaves flowers on an unmarked grave, and Charity notices it and is a little perplexed. Jerica and Alexander go back to the Abbey. He begins to work on breaking down the wall that's sealing the room in the basement. Jerica goes for a swim in the lake next to the Abbey and finds something interesting at the bottom of the lake. I wonder what it could be. Aunt Annie and Charity go back to the graveyard, this is like the next day, and find Charity's mother's grave and the unmarked grave disinterred. The unmarked grave belongs to that of a baby, and inside the coffin are the words scratched into the wood, Bighead, burn in hell. Annie passes out, and Charity helps her back to the house. This whole time that all of this has been going on, notice I haven't been talking about the Bighead, it's because he's literally just been walking around raping and killing people. That's what he does. He follows a voice, or has recently been following a voice in his head, kind of in his head, telling him where to go. It keeps saying, come, like leading him somewhere. I thought it was going to be another, like, sex joke originally when I saw the big fucking bold words, come, but that's not what it was. It is implied that he was led to the graveyard and that he is the one who dug up the graves. The Bighead breaks into the boarding house right after Annie and Charity get back, and they successfully are able to hide from him. They drive away from the house and toward the Abbey to collect the father and Jerica. Annie tells Charity that the Bighead is looking for them. This is the story as she tells it. A few months after Charity's birth, or like a year or whatever, I don't remember what the time frame is, Annie and Charity's mother were walking along the lake next to the Abbey. A man came out of the shadows and viciously raped Sissy, so Charity's mom. The townsfolk then killed him. 9 months later, Sissy gave birth to the Bighead. It ate its way out of her. Annie was supposed to kill it, but couldn't, and instead dug up a stillborn fetus and stove its head in and buried that in the Bighead's place. She was the midwife, so she knew all about like all the stillborns and stuff. So she dug up some random woman's baby, then replaced the Bighead's body with that, or the Bighead with its body. On her way out to hide the Bighead so that she could come and get him later, a man drives by, and he's described as an old creaker, a very old creaker cracker. And I had to look up what the term creaker meant, and I think essentially what they're getting at is it's a person who doesn't have a home, who what they call home is like the nearest body of water, the nearest creek. So, and he's also like super like inbred. He's got like a little fleshy arm thing. Anyway, The man says, let me take him in. You clearly can't care for him. You're trying to hide the body and the baby in the woods. And she's like, no, I would never get rid of a baby like that. And he's like, just give him to me. Man later would turn out to be evil and teach the big head about killing and raping and all of that shit. Who could have seen that coming? Alexander goes to look for Jerica. She's been gone for a while, and he also sees something strange in the lake, but he doesn't find Jerica. Then Jerica attacks Alexander, so she finds him. She's been possessed by something after touching the strange object thing in the lake. It gives her inhuman strength and knowledge. She says she has met the nuns that were in his dreams. Alexander asks her if she's possessed by a demon, man of God, and she laughs and says, not all, or I wrote down the quote, but I'll give you the bigger quote. It says, don't be so draconian. Not all demons are from hell, or not all devils are from hell. She also further implies that devils and hell exist during their conversations. Dicky and Balls, even though she is not a demon from hell, let that be clear. She's not a demon from hell, and it right now it might seem like it's metaphorical that she's calling herself a devil, like, oh, you're a devil because you're a bad person. I don't think it is. I think she's implying that she is what would be considered a devil, but not a devil from hell. And this is corroborated later with other evidence. But keep that in mind. She's a devil, maybe. You can decide that yourself later. But in my mind, she's a devil, but not from hell. We'll get to there. Dicky and Balls come in. They've been following these people. As I said, they've been staking out their house, stalking them, whatever. Balls staves in Jerica's head right as she's about to fuck the priest. She's already made him do a bunch of horrible sexual acts on her, like sucking the feces out of her asshole. Anyway, Balls staves her head in with a tire iron and begins raping her. They also hit up Alexander upside the head with the tire iron, and he becomes immobile. Jesus appears to him, possibly as a hallucination, and begins talking to him. The two delinquents go to kill him, and Alexander manages to take their gun from them using his military training. He's Vietnam. I'm not giving you his backstory. It really doesn't fucking matter to what I'm trying to get across to you. He is unable to kill them due to his holy nature. The two criminals run to leave, and the Bighead appears and kills Dicky rather violently. The Bighead then randomly runs off, leaving Balls safe, and then it's revealed why. Balls, now at Alexander's gunpoint, becomes possessed with the spirit of Satan. Essentially. His voice becomes low and unusually crisp. He's been speaking in a lengthened southern drawl the entire time. He admits that he is a myrmidon of Satan and that there are more like him. He says that the priest will never be able to stop all of them, and Alexander shoots him. Charity and Annie arrive and walk to the water's edge. Supernatural lightning breaks a dam and releases all of the water from the lake. In the center, the duo are presented with a spaceship of alien origin. This is the thing that Jerica touched. This is the thing that Alexander saw. And Jerica said when she touched it that she was possessed by the energy of something maybe still living. I think it's implied that the spaceship itself is also alive, aside from the other thing that we will get to in a moment. Annie breaks down on the bank. Here are the changes that she makes to the story. It was not a man that raped Sissy, but the thing from the ship. After the townsfolk killed it, they threw it into the room in the abbey and sealed it up. After the Bighead ate its way out of Sissy, Annie heard a baby's cry. It was Charity. She and the Bighead are twins. The Bighead comes upon them and begins attacking and raping Annie. Annie tells Charity to run and tells her that the reason no man can love her is because she's not meant for them, that the only man that she's meant for is her brother. The Bighead kills Annie and walks toward Charity, who then promptly blacks out. Alexander watches as the Bighead goes back into the abbey and breaks into the sealed-off room. Inside is the husk of the alien, who is described as being dead in body but alive in mind, essentially. It's very Lovecraftian in nature. Alexander shoots the Bighead, who picks the bullet out of its forehead like the fucking... I was going to say like the scene in one of the X-Men movies where like Wolverine, like the bullet comes out of his head, but that's actually not like it happens at all. It fucking like blooms out on his head. Whatever. The alien creature thing talks to Alexander in his head, likening the man to a fly, essentially, and saying that it and the Bighead could kill him without even thinking about it. And that killing him is it would require more energy than it's worth, and that they must go. It's not worth their time to kill him, which I feel is kind of a cop-out in terms of the story. Like, it just gives an opportunity for them to be killed, but I didn't write the book. Alexander comes upon Charity, noting that she appears unharmed. He taunts the Bighead, shooting its alien father. Uh, Alien father obviously unharmed, dead in body, alive in mind. The Bighead approaches Alexander, and Alex shoots him through the eye, killing him. While making their escape from Luntville in the epilogue, Alex has a heart attack and crashes the car, killing himself. He has an out-of-body experience where Jesus speaks to him yet again. Jesus tells him that Charity is the Bighead's brother, which Alex did not know at this point. He tells him that she's pregnant. It is implied that she has a giant vagina, and that is why no man could enjoy fucking her, but that she was made to take the Bighead's girth. That is directly from my script. Thank you very much. Jesus reveals his true form, that being Lucifer, Satan, the beast, the prince of darkness, the lord of the flies, the devil, the evil one, the morning star himself, masquerading as Jesus Christ in order to tempt Alex into sin. I apologize for the synonyms, but you would not believe the number of synonyms this book gave for both Lucifer and Jesus throughout it. The devil implies that Charity's pregnancy and the continuation of the alien race is a win for him. I think specifically he says it's a win for us. Alex's story ends with the blacktop cracking open and the evil nuns pulling him into hell. Charity awakens and sheds her dress as she hears her alien father's voice in her head telling her to go, which is the same voice that the Bighead was hearing to begin with. She steps into the woods, happy to live a life as a wild woman, planning to raise the twins she gives birth to as is her fate. A lot of the Bigheads and then later her story, I guess, at the very end, is about like their providence, like what their fate is. I didn't really touch on it because it doesn't really fucking matter. So, let's final plot summary related stuff real quick. I originally had a whole thing planned out to like talk about, well, which stuff is absolutely true in the book and which stuff could be explained away as Alex's just dreams or head trauma. I mean, the nuns, as I said, in his dreams, they only gain faces after he sees their pictures. So, like, it's not like he had a premonition, really. The demon shit and all of the Jesus hallucinations only happen after he gets, like, fucking terrible head trauma. Head trauma that killed Jerica, like, stove her head in. Like, okay. The shit Jerica says to him, okay, we know the aliens are real. We know that they're fucking Lovecraftian in nature, have supernatural powers. The stuff about the nuns and being a demon, that could have just been playing into his emotions, right? The alien shit, as I just said, it's absolutely real. But the Jesus, heaven, hell, and God could have been explained as, like, unreliable narration, right? I know the fucking epilogue. Again, I had this whole script planned out about, like, well, what could be real, what could be fake, what's in his head, what's not. Is this unreliable narration? I actually like this. This is actually pretty cool because it, like, leaves it open to interpretation. What about how much of this is actually supernatural, you know? But then the epilogue, which canonizes everything. The nuns, they're ghosts, evil spirits from hell. Lucifer and God, they're canon. Aliens, we already knew that they were canon. But the aliens being demons as well, Jerica, and then Lucifer at the end. So again, this is tying back to when I said that the Bighead is an alien demon and then half-human hybrid. So Jerica and Lucifer being at the end, as well as the whole thing with Balls being possessed, essentially prove that, yes, to quote Jerica again, not all demons are from hell. I don't think this is meant to be metaphorical, as I just said, about like evil people and being devils and stuff. I think based on her saying that, and then Lucifer at the end talking about the aliens and saying it's a win for us, the fact that their species will continue, and then Balls, right after Jerica says that line about not all demons are from hell, being possessed as a myrmidon of Satan, which is not a term I'd ever heard before, and I don't think is exclusive as an actual term for followers of Satan. It just means a follower of someone who does not question them, an unquestioning follower. He is a definitive example, right after it is said, of a demon that is not from hell. The fact that the Bighead ignores him and kills Dickie is clearly the lesser of the two evils throughout the book, is another, like, just example of this thing. So, final thoughts. The aliens, they're also demons. They're demon aliens. That's what I got from that. Is that the like the Lucifer stuff? You really could explain that away as just when he says it's a win for us, even though he is directly talking about the aliens. You could explain that away as just him talking about hell demons. But the Jerica stuff, like that is her directly saying, "Don't be so draconian. Not all demons are from hell." When he asks her if she is like a demon from hell, and you could have kind of explained that away, but then balls right after becoming essentially proving that he is a demon, not from hell, and that there are others like him, and the fact that he becomes possessed essentially with a dark force. Like, you could explain all of that away, and I'm just reaching, and that they're just aliens, and there's also demons and hell, and those are two separate things. But I just think the way that it's written heavily implies that the aliens are also demons, especially just with how Lovecraftian and cosmic and like all-knowing the dead in body, alive in mind alien is described as being. I really do think that the aliens are demons. I think they are demon aliens. I think the Bighead is half human, half demon alien. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, final thoughts. So, all that shit that I was talking about earlier that I said needed spoilers, we're going to get into that now. Or that I said included spoilers, whatever. I'm tired. So, I mean, the chapter of exposition and then the chapter of exposition right after, that's the story about the Bighead. And it was literally the entire chapter, first chapter, was just her explaining the story of the Bighead. And then there was another entire like 2-page section later of her correcting all of the lies that she made during that first, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna finally like break the whole story, you might as well break the whole fucking story instead of retroactively having to go back and change things that the person breaking the story lied about. I feel like I don't know that I've ever read or watched or consumed another piece of media where when the story was finally broken by the character, the all-knowing character, that they had to retroactively go back and do it again because they lied. I mean, it probably has happened before. I'm just not used to it. I just felt it could have been organized better, but that's just me. It didn't really affect my reading very much. Like, it wasn't annoying or anything. I just was. It was just odd. It really is what it boils down to. It was just odd. Oh yes, I wrote alrighty what the fuck when it was revealed that there was an alien spaceship in the middle of the fucking lake. The ending kind of felt unsatisfying, or at least it would if any of this shit felt like it mattered after it was revealed that there were aliens. Okay, so Lee likes Lovecraft. That's pretty clear, right? Given a lot of his other books that he's written that are direct, they're meant to be direct sequels or parodies of certain Lovecraft works. That's fine. I mean, he fucking quotes Lovecraft in the forward to the Genital Grinder book. I have some issues with the way that the Eldritch deity is portrayed. For one, there's a okay. Let me lay this out a little more for you. The Bighead breaks through the wall, and Alexander follows and shoots the Bighead. And then he hears the thing's voice, the Eldritch God's voice in his head, talking to him. And then there is an entirely new section. The section ends, and there's a whole new section of just italicized, connected, like no spaces, text, like a wall of text, and it's just essentially saying, "You're a bug. I could kill you with a breath. You are nothing. It's blah 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 blah. This is not worth my energy. We must go." The whole paragraph feels forced. The whole paragraph of it speaking feels kind of unnecessary. It just like you didn't need to spell out that hard that this thing is infinite and could kill us with a breath. Like it felt very on the nose. But the book's about demon aliens, so I will give that a pass. My main issue is the way that I describe the text being run together, and just the sectioning of it as well. The psycho speak of the thing does not need to run together as one word in italics for us to know how infinite and all-powerful the fucking being is. You could just have it be in italics. I don't get the formatting choice. I really don't. I don't think it imparts infinity or cosmic horror. It just kind of feels unnecessary. You don't have to have the things, the psycho whatever telepathic thoughts be their own section of the book. Like I told you, the chapters were broken into sections. It's its own section. It has its own section that is a block of text talking to Alexander, and it kind of feels like to the reader as well. You don't need to have this thing essentially break the fourth wall with its fucking telepathic speech for us to know how infinite and all powerful it is. I kind of felt that the cosmic horror elements were done rather poorly. I hope when I eventually read some of his other Lovecraftian novels that they are much better in that regard. I just felt this was very baby's first cosmic horror. Oh, look, the thing has, like, this is something I would have done in like third grade. Oh, look, it has weird font and it's saying I could kill you without thinking about it. I could kill you with less than a breath. Like, it's very on the nose. That has no subtlety whatsoever. And it also like I could kill you, the reader, with a breath. Like, I mean, really, it's such a small part of the book. It really doesn't matter that much. The whole, like, I don't know. It took a fucking genre turn toward the end into cosmic horror, and I figured if the book did that, I might as well fucking nitpick it for being kind of shit, if I'm honest. But I did like the fucking weird ass descriptions, and that was more in line with Lovecraft of like it's alive in body or alive in mind but dead in body, but it wasn't actually described like that. It was described much more vague, and I like that. That is what. Okay, it's not infinite and horrifying if it just is literally saying to the reader and to the character, "I could kill you without thinking about it." Like that's not scary or infinite or fucking cosmic. That's just okay, whatever. Like when you describe something so vague that it's hard for us to wrap our heads around what the fuck you're trying to say, that is cosmically horrifying. Like you are kind of describing it as being both alive and dead at the same time, and that is cosmic. That is Lovecraftian. That is much more subtle and interesting than just I could kill you with a fart. Like I mean, whatever. And then the gross out shit for the sake of gross out shit, the stuff that the nuns do, like pissing in him, it's described as like purging him and preparing him. I don't know what that fully has to do with anything. It's not really described at all. Maybe they're preparing him for being dragged down to hell or whatever. I don't fully understand. But it just felt like he was filling out a quota of gross shit. And then the Dicky and Balls stuff, like they barely affect the book at all, aside from further convincing me, or at least Balls further convincing me that the aliens are also demons at the same time, and then also killing Jerica. But other than that, they're literally just there to be gross and do gross things and commit gross sexual crimes, like making people eat their own vomit and ripping a man's genitals off with his own body weight. Like I I I'm not disappointed that that was a thing because completely expect that from extreme horror. It just they felt like the big head kind of felt like more interesting and just silly, and they just kind of felt like they shouldn't have really been there. They didn't need to be there, really. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of where my thoughts end, honestly. This book is I would say it's pretty decent. I would say it's a 6 out of 10, a lower 6 out of 10. I didn't really enjoy it a lot. Again, I was never bored. It was never a chore. It didn't gross me out. It just was kind of there. I would say it's above mid. I would say, again, it gets some points for actually being interesting. The ending was just really fucking weird. Too weird for me to get into. Some of it, again, I kind of felt useless to a plot. But overall, lower to mid six. It is a serviceable book. It is clearly a classic of the genre. I will, as I always do, leave a link in the description to where you can find it. But yeah, that's it for the video. If you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, dislike the video, but don't fucking, I don't know, change your name, move to a new country, order what is it, a Hoover Max from Breaking Bad. Fucking tell me why you didn't like the video. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. I don't know you. You're fucking text on a screen, and I'm a person in a disguise on your screen. It's really like there's nothing going on here. If you fucking hate something about me that I can't change, just tell me it. Like, it's not gonna hurt me. Just tell me you fucking hated my content, dislike the video, and then I don't know, fucking turn your profile picture into a cucumber, say I'm a cucumber, and fuck off. Like, I mean, we're on the internet here. We're on the internet. It doesn't fucking matter. None of this interaction really fucking matters at the end of the day. I'm just here to try to provide some entertainment for you. That's it. You didn't like it? That is completely your fucking right as another human being. Tell me you didn't like it. Dislike the video. Just please don't dislike and then fuck off. Just tell me why you didn't like it. Please. What else? What else? As always, everything I've said in this video, all my opinions are my opinions. My opinions alone. Form your own opinions. Please. Go read the book. You may fucking love this book. I know there are some people who swear by this book. I didn't like it very much. There are other ones on my shelf that I liked a lot more. But I am a hard person to fully please. That is just how I am. I'm kind of a negative Nancy. I can't help it. I try to call out the good things when I see them. Try to start the video with a good thing every time. His prose was beautiful. I will just say that. Well, not Christopher Triana beautiful, but it was good. It was very good. He has a command of the English language. He's able to make the English feel extremely dirty and degraded and or degrading. It's very good. I enjoy his writing style. I have some personal meh with the fucking accent, the way he writes all of the accents, but I'm kind of becoming more numb to that as I read more of these books. So I didn't even really bother talking about that in this video. I'll leave a link. Fucking what else? Anything else? Fucking hug your mother. Uh, hug your brother. Hug your sister. Hug your grandma. Be a good person. Don't go around raping people and eating them. See ya.